Hi, my name is Erica Jones of Real Imaginal Astrology, and over here we have the moon almost full, rising above the eastern horizon. Over here, I'll point out, that's Mount Rainier behind me in the Salish Sea, spreading out behind me. And as I speak, the moon is still in Libra. She's on her way to the depths of Scorpio, where she will be in opposition to the sun tomorrow, April 23rd at 4:48 p.m. U.S. Pacific time. And it's such an energetic full moon that we have this month. It makes a very dynamic aspect, a T-square we call it, to Pluto, the lord of the underworld. And this combination promises to really invite us, maybe demand, that we look a little more deeply beneath the surface of what we're feeling. Some of us will likely have an actually a pretty ecstatic experience of this. There's also in the sky Jupiter conjoining Uranus, and that combination can bring quite a bit of expansion and sudden openings, breakthrough, insight, joy, celebration. It can be quite wonderful and liberating. And so, it could be that the high energy that comes through this full moon is actually a burst of joy, or joy along with facing some difficulty. It could be that if we're resisting what wants to be unearthed under the pressure or the insistence of this full moon, which always, full moons will always activate our emotions, whether we like it or not. If we're resisting, it could be that we're holding back some great blessing, some great insight, a relief of some sort of pressure. Now, for others, it could also correlate to some wild uncertainties and the resistance being holding back a sense of chaos or the unknown that is too upsetting to turn towards. Whatever the case may be, it is possible for all of us to really pick up a surfboard of awareness. It's the way I like to think of dealing with really powerful emotions, is bringing awareness to it, knowing what's happening, even if there's nothing necessarily we can do about it. That awareness can steady us so that we receive whatever insight, whatever information wants to come through that emotional response, that emotional reality. Because it could very well be that our, deeper unconscious self that the moon represents, that the sun is highlighting, knows something that our conscious self doesn't, and really would like us to bring something to awareness that is important, that is crucial for our becoming and for our being. Also under these skies, I will note that the sign of Scorpio, where the moon will grow her fullest tomorrow on April 23rd, is associated with both the planets Pluto, which it's in a dynamic hard aspect to, and Mars. And Mars in the sky is presently making a conjunction to the planet Neptune. And this lends itself to searching for direction, or perhaps an inspired action. That would be Neptune working on Mars, Neptune's inspiration, Mars action. In the sign of Pisces as well, it might be imperative actually to use more intuitive means of accessing our knowing of which way to go, and maybe even waiting before acting or before being too impulsive. It is better to sit, to wait, to allow the meaning to distill under our awareness, under the unfolding of conditions, as well as this, whatever the full moon might spark for us, unfolds through time. And additionally, Mercury, the planet of mind, of communication, of conceptual reality, is stationing, slowing down, appearing to stand still against the backdrop of the zodiac in order to return to direct motion. That'll be on April 25th that Mercury will again move into direct. And always those few days right around the station where Mercury appears to stand still in the sky, whether it's going backwards or returning to direct motion, can be challenging to actually grasp, to fully reckon with or understand ourselves, others, events around us. It could just be a confusing time. So that also indicates trying to be with what emerges, whatever that may be, under this very energetic, I'm just calling it a very energetic full moon. It's hard to say that it is either good or bad, because for the fact that Mars and Jupiter are in a sextile with each other, so it's a harmonious aspect, and they are setting off Uranus sextile Neptune, which is a much longer influence that has so much to do with our dreams, our aspirations, our ideals, the seeing beyond our present moment. And Mars and Jupiter are both very energetic planets. They tend to activate whenever they touch another planet. Jupiter will expand, sometimes to gross proportions, out of proportion. Mars can bring quite a bit of energy and impulsivity as well to whatever it touches. And in this case, looking at the overall picture, it is a time of inspiration, of really getting in touch with these larger arcs of our life, these larger cycles of becoming that are contained in the outer planets. And it just gives an overall picture of needing and looking for inspiration, for a breath of fresh air to come in and shake out what's stagnant. And sometimes that isn't pleasant, especially if we're accustomed to holding on to, or we're accustomed to a rigid sort of armoring against life, that this could really challenge that sort of thing. But to open to receive the blessing is something that could be more available now than at other times. Now, where this is potentially quite challenging would be in that containment of any anger or rage, or the fruitful direction of that, so that it's not simply spilling out in destructive ways, but recognized for the source. Where is this coming from, and appropriately placed. The challenge of really knowing how to direct that, of how to make an offering from that inner fire, whether it's the knowledge that a boundary has been crossed, or there is some injustice that needs to be righted, a relationship that needs repair, and anger is the first thing to arise. Being able to really sit with and know more about the source of that, so that that right action can take place. Many of us could be spurred to move and to really change things that we've tolerated for far too long, perhaps, or where the intolerable now becomes something that can be approached because a sufficient energy has arisen, whether that's in the form of anger or simply actually just being kind of done with it and ready to make a break with the past. That Jupiter-Uranus really signifies the successful break. Let's say Jupiter the success, Uranus the break with things. Now certainly the triple conjunction of the planet Saturn, which can be very challenging or problematic. It's all about boundaries and tends to negate things. With Mars, which is again this very aggressive warrior energy, which serves to protect us, but can also be on the attack, on the offense. With Neptune. Neptune being something that really diffuses energy and spreads it out, makes it abundantly available. That this particular combination, triple conjunction, could very well be a challenge with respect to using the setting of boundaries in a way that's healing, that makes continued connection possible. In fact, it may indicate that there does need to be some real separation in order to get proper objectivity, in order to know what direction to move. If there is an issue that's erupting in your life, know that taking proper distance could in fact be the healing movement. Now with the Sun in Taurus, we have an emphasis on the planet Venus. And Venus at this moment is wrapping up a conjunction with the planet Chiron. And this particular combination, Venus being all about harmony, harmonizing, finding concord, agreement, sharing, reciprocity, in a conjunction with Chiron, which can bring up our most painful woundings and difficulties, the things that we must reckon with in order to become more whole and really inhabit the fullness of our own humanity, both the animal part and the more rational, what we might identify as the human part. Chiron being represented by, in myth, by the centaur, which is half horse, half human. And looking at this aspect of this full moon, this lunation, and this general moment being one of, I think, breaking out of places that we overly compromise. That could be a big theme for many of us. At what point do we draw the line and say, actually, this is a non-negotiable? At what point do we risk being that vulnerable to really serve our own values? Venus speaks so much to our values and the things that we really want to uphold in our lives. So it could be very much a part of the conversation or what is emerging under this lunation, digging deep enough into one's courage to say no, to draw the line, or even to express what we need and what it is that is required in order to move forward with another person or with a project, like with a collaboration. It could be many things. Venus is all about the other. So it has a very social component, she does. And then I think too with Chiron, and they're both in the sign of Aries, which is associated with the planet Mars. And Chiron and Aries generally can be a challenge with accessing one's desire, one's will, what it is that we want to do as an individual person. So having that as a part of this picture just does speak to having to access or be in touch with what it is that drives each of us, and as well to honor and respect what drives the other, and where those two things don't meet, for example, and where they do, but to be real about it, because with Chiron, some of our deepest vulnerabilities really get turned up. Already Scorpio moon vulnerable, then Pluto right in the mix. I mean, that's just hitting us right where we need the most. What it is that we need, the things that secretly define us, that we tend to only discover through encountering it, sort of like a wild animal that we might come across within ourselves, within our relationships. So there can be that element of surprise as well, I think, under this lunation, of the urgency of our need and the urgency of standing up for what it is that we need in whatever way it fits the situation. So I hope that you have enjoyed this little forecast. My name is Erica Jones. I'm a professional astrologer. I also am a practitioner of metaphysical healing in the mystical arts, and you can find my work, and I offer consultations in all of those three areas, as well as classes. My web address is real, realimaginal.com. And again, I'm Erica Jones. Thanks so much for listening. May all beings benefit everywhere without exception.